Hey everybody, welcome to Kicking It with Key, the Porch Podcast. I am your host Key, where I sit in a dope environment and talk to dope people about how dope they are. We're gonna jump right into our next guest.
Yes,
I'm gonna just let him tell you all about it because it's about to be fire right now.
yes, 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 yes,
Who
yes.
are you and what do you do?
Okay, so for those who don't know, my name is Michael Warren, and I am a financial professional, licensed financial professional.
It's
I
very
help,
important.
yes, I help people make and save money, and help them also retire with dignity as well too.
Love
So
it.
that's exactly what I do, kind of like in a nutshell there.
Okay, so tell us about it. Start a financial because your whole perspective is about finance.
Yes,
So let's
yes.
start there. Tell us
Okay.
how to get financially free,
Okay,
basically.
good question. So normally when I meet someone new,
Okay.
one of the first questions I ask them is, what are your top three financial concerns?
Okay.
Because I kind of want to see where I need to start.
Okay.
Okay, and sometimes people may say, well, I don't know what I need to do, so I'll kind of probe a little bit,
Okay.
So I'll say something like, well, do you have any life insurance?
Mm.
Or do you have a retirement plan, like
Okay.
a 401k or something like that?
Okay.
And I kind of usually start there because then they'll say either yay or nay.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why I always start with life insurance is because I believe life insurance is the foundation to any financial plan that you have. Reason why is because let's say I start an investment plan for you.
Okay.
Okay, a year down the line, God forbid, something happens to the person. All right, they get sick and they pass away. Well, guess
Mm-hmm.
what? That financial plan does nothing for their family.
Oh wow.
You see what I'm saying?
Okay.
So what I do is I do life insurance first,
Mm-hmm.
to cover them. All right, while they are building, accumulating assets, and again, so if something happens to them prematurely, then guess what? We could trigger the life insurance, or if they outlive or when they outlive
Mm-hmm.
the insurance policy, whatever the case may be, they'll have the investment as well too.
Okay, so life insurance is where we start.
Yes,
That's
absolutely.
where we start.
That's
in financial planning.
Yes, absolutely.
And build off of that.
You always build from there.
So having that security blanket will allow you to keep the other things to be coming. What should come after that?
Well, so normally after that, I'll start the investment process. Okay. A lot of times, even before there, I'll ask, is there any debt?
Okay.
Right? Because debt, I say, is kind of like the new slavery.
Mm-hmm.
Because everybody has it.
Okay.
All right. Not just one group of people.
Okay.
All right. And a lot of times, most people can't do things. And what I found out through a lot of people says that they really don't have a debt problem.
Mm-hmm.
It's more of a spending problem.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Starbucks problem.
Exactly. So it's really just a spending problem. And usually, if you can get the spending under control,
then you can get the debt.
there you go. You can get the debt under control.
Makes sense to me.
Because a lot of times people don't even know what they're spending money on.
Gotcha.
Okay. Because I'll ask them. I say, well, what are you doing?
Mm-hmm.
What are some of the things you spend? Oh my God, I don't know. It's kind of impulsive. So I say, okay, now I'm about to get in your business.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I need to see some bank statements because bank statements are going to tell me the story
Everything.
that I need.
Yes.
Because most people use their card, swipe here, swipe there. And what I know is that, let's say you go to Starbucks coffee is going to cost you anywhere, what, 10, 12
From
bucks?
$7 to $10.
Okay.
Yes.
So you doing that every day. All right.
Wow.
That's $50, $60 a month.
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. You could start a Roth IRA, all right, for as little as 25 to 50 bucks a month.
Wow. Tell us more about the Roth IRA. Tell us about that because I hear that throwing around that in the 401k. Tell us a little bit more about that. Why it's important, I should say.
Good. So the reason why I believe the Roth IRA is the best thing since sliced bread is because it's a tax-free investment vehicle. Okay. There's a couple of reasons, but just beside that. First, obviously, it's tax-free. Secondly, let's just say you needed your money early. Okay. Because if you have a 401k at your job, all right, normally if you take from your 401k, all right, you're going to be penalized.
Yes.
All right, for taking that money out. Or you're going to be taxed as well too.
Gotcha.
So the money that you actually put into your Roth IRA, the contributions, you can take out anytime you want to.
And
no penalties, no taxes, nothing. Now, the earnings, you got to wait until you hit retirement age, which is 59 and a half or older.
So basically, you get to take out your part.
There you go.
Okay.
100%. So if I had to give you an example, let's say you start a Roth IRA and you got $10,000 in there. $7,000 is what you put in, and the other $3 is what you made in interest. That $7 you could take out anytime, no taxes, no penalties.
Wow.
Okay. That's good. Also, too, with the Roth IRA, they have this thing called RMDs, required minimum distributions.
Okay.
All right. So with your 401k, you have those. So you have to take your money by the age of 72. Okay. Because if you do not, all right, the government will penalize you heavily. The reason why is because they haven't gotten their portion of the taxes.
Because
there you go. Okay. But with the 401k, with the Roth IRA, you never ever have to take your money at all. And the biggest thing about the Roth that most people don't know is that when you pass away, okay, when the money is transferred from you to your beneficiaries, all right, they don't have to pay any taxes on that money.
Oh, wow. That is something people don't know.
Yeah, they don't have to pay any taxes on that money. And I tell people that's probably one of the best, aside from it being tax-free, that's the second best thing about it is that, you know, when you pass that money on to your family, okay, they never have to pay any taxes at all. Okay.
Gotcha.
And one of the things that people always ask me is say, Mike, well, how do you become a millionaire? I mean, for a 25-year-old, all they have to do is invest $158, okay, a month. That's it. From 25 to 40. Okay.
From 25 to 40.
No, excuse me, 25 to 65.
25. Even still.
Yeah.
Because if you think about it, at 25, if I was told I could put $150 away from that, I would have did it. Wow.
And tax-free millionaire. Okay. And that's just $158 a month. That's
really not nothing.
That's nothing.
We spend $150 at Starbucks.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. And again, that's why it's so important for me to get to the younger generation.
Definitely.
And to help them understand that, hey, listen, it doesn't take a whole lot, you know, for you to gain the wealth that you need. Because what I've encountered now that most people want everything instantly.
It's a microwave society.
Yeah, it's a microwave society. And even when you look at the people, you know, that have gained wealth, like your Warren Buffett's, also Ian, the master investor.
Yes.
Okay. All of them tell you that, hey, it's a long-term plan.
Yes.
Okay. It's a long-term thing. The gain wealth is you're going to have to be in it for a while. Nothing comes easy.
Nothing.
Okay. So that's kind of how those things work.
So what are you doing? I know you teach this and you are licensed in it. What are you doing to help the youth? Like what techniques are you using to get to them and let them know?
Good question. So what I know is that a lot of us, we are in the churches. Okay. One of my mentors, his name is Kenny Bryant.
Okay.
He started a company called Managing Money God's Way. Okay. So, you know, he's my mentor and I actually started working with him.
Okay.
He helped me get licensed. And so that's what we do. We literally go into churches.
Okay.
And we educate, you know, people in the church about finances.
Okay.
Okay. Not only that, one of the things that I do too is I go to community centers. Okay. Our local community centers that's, you know, in places that most people that don't want to go to.
Yeah.
You know, I'll go in there and I'll call them up. Hey, listen, when's the last time you had somebody come and talk to, you know, the people in the community about finances? Now, I know ain't nobody calling them. Nobody's going in there, but I asked the question anyway.
Right.
And they tell me nobody. So I say, well, listen, one of the things that I do is I help educate people about saving money, getting out of debt, things of that nature.
Yes.
And I would love to come help, you know, and I do it absolutely free. Absolutely free.
How dope is that?
And that's how I kind of get to, you know, the youth and just help them.
And the words that you give them, like, what would you tell somebody now? Somebody don't have a bank account. Like, what are you against the online bank accounts, the Chimes and the things like that? Is that really a good thing?
Well, I mean, I'm not against it because you gotta start from somewhere.
Got you.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
But here's what I will say: you don't use the you know, your regular savings accounts as interest or investment accounts, rather.
Okay.
Here's why: because with savings accounts, they have very, very low interest rates. Okay. And to give you a kind of an example of that, all right. Let's just say, you know, there's something that they call it the rule of 72. Okay. And And basically, the rule of 72 lets you know how long it's going to take for your money to double at a given interest rate.
Okay.
Okay. So, for example, if I know the banks don't even give 1%, they don't. All right, but let's just say that they're being generous. All right, and they're giving you 1%.
Okay.
All right. If I got $1,000 and the bank is giving me 1%, to find out how long it's going to take my $1,000 to get to $2,000, all I do is take the number 72 and divide it by the interest rate, which is 1. 72 divided by 1 is what? 72.
Exactly.
So that lets me know it's going to take 72 years for my $1,000 to get to at 1%.
Wow.
And these are the interest, all right, rates that banks are giving. Okay. Even with CDs,
it doesn't matter.
CDs, they used to give you 3%.
Wow.
All right. 72 divided into 3 is 24. That's 24 years.
Yeah, just to make it to the next bracket.
That's what I'm saying. So what I tell them, I say, listen, you need a bank account just for emergency purposes, like to keep things liquid.
Gotcha.
But if you are trying to build, all right, you need an investment account.
Okay.
All right, you got to invest in things like stocks, mutual funds, things of that nature. Why? Because I know that the S&P over the last 30 years has averaged close to 10%.
Wow.
Okay, it's averaged close to 10% over the last 30 years. So I know by just doing that doesn't take a long time. And like I said, you could start investment accounts for as little as anywhere from $25 to $50 a month.
And that's just you can go to a bank, or like, I don't know if Chime and like online stuff, how they do it.
Yeah. So normally what they'll probably do is put you in contact with an investment banker.
So like a third party.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. Depending on what, how they do it.
Okay.
But like I said, usually what they'll do, depending on if they try to keep everything in house.
Okay.
And that's why I always tell somebody, if they're trying to learn or trying to get in to trying to build money, go talk to somebody who's licensed. And that's not to say that everybody who is not licensed doesn't know what they're talking about.
But licensed means you went through a process to get to where you are.
There you are. Yeah. Exactly. And the reason why I say that, because normally if someone is licensed, they'll probably look at the whole story.
The
all
whole
right.
Scope of things.
Exactly. Yeah. Seeing where you are. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Saying, okay, before we can invest, all right, we need to make sure we cover your family.
Got you.
You know what I mean?
Starting from the bottom.
There you go. Exactly. Because it's very important for you to have your financial plan. Do you know how much money you need to have by the time you retire, so you don't ever have to go back to work again?
Yes.
All right. That's a number.
Yeah.
All right. You could put a number on that.
Yes.
All right. So those are the types of things that I educate people about, families about.
Okay.
All right. And it's been very good. It's been very good.
What's your opinion on high yield interest accounts?
Yeah.
Like, is that a good thing as well? I'm starting to learn more about
that. No, that's a great question. I mean, it all depends on what they're giving you.
Okay.
Because like I said, if you go to a bank, they're going to tell you, 2 to 3% is a very good high yield interest account.
Okay.
That's high for them. But I know that's going to take a very long time.
It's going to take like 50 years.
Exactly. And that's the thing. They're not, see what they're doing. They're just giving you, they're giving you information instead of educating you about what they're giving you.
Gotcha.
And because they don't educate you, all right, they're not giving you any value.
And I think that goes along with the license too, because sometimes when we call these banks, they're just customer service reps.
That's all they are.
Not licensed. They're just like, here, I'm selling the product. It is what it is.
Exactly. So it is very important. So when you look at like a high yielding investment account, what I would say normally with a high yielding account, let's say just to keep it conservative, I'll say anywhere between 9 to 10%.
So that's the number you should look for.
Yeah, like when you're investing, because like I said, when you take a look at the S&P, so the S&P, which is the Standard & Poor's, all right, it takes up the top 500 companies.
Gotcha.
All right, and basically what normal businesses do is they take the S&P as a benchmark to see, okay, how are my investments are doing.
Okay.
So when you look at certain, mutual funds, and you look at certain stocks, things of that nature, they'll compare it to the S&P.
Gotcha.
All right, and they'll be able to say, okay, based off the S&P, I did good, or I did subpar, or I did really, really bad. You know what I mean? So that's why it's important to, like I said, to know those things, because you don't want somebody telling you that they could get you 20% in the market. All right.
Yeah.
Because that's all. Don't get me wrong. It has happened. All right.
But the likelihood.
Exactly. All right. So you always want to stay conservative, because again, is really all about, what are the facts.
Okay.
All right. And when you take a look at what most companies use, all right, they kind of, again, they use the S&P or the Russell as as that benchmark.
Gotcha. The guideline for that.
Absolutely.
Okay. So tell me, give us some advice. There's people going to be watching this and they're like, well, how can I get myself financially together? Okay. You know what I mean? Like, so what advice would you give someone, young, old? Because I know older people deal with it just like young people. What can I do to start me off to become the financial way I need to be?
Okay. So the first thing you want to do, like I said before, is one, get with a licensed financial professional.
Okay.
Okay. And what you should be looking at first is, your debt situation.
Okay.
That's the first thing you should be tackling.
Gotcha.
All right. Because you got to stop the bleeding.
Okay.
Okay. Because if you don't stop the bleeding, you can't invest anything. You can't get life insurance and none of that stuff.
Okay.
So you got to stop the bleeding first.
And what should my debt to ratio look like for life?
Your debt to income ratio, a good one, they say it's about 15%.
Okay.
All right. So that anything above 15%, that's when things start to get a little crazy.
Okay.
Okay. But that's where you kind of want to be. But once you kind of get your debt under control, you get on a debt plan. Okay. All right, and you can see the light at the end of the tunnel. All right, then we could say, all right, let's look at some insurance things first.
Okay.
All right, you start looking at insurance. And then you kind of build it from there. Then it's investments. All right, because you got to take care of you first.
Gotcha.
All right.
Gotcha.
And then once we see that, we got the debt under control. All right. We got some life insurance. We got some investments to take care of me when I, retire.
Exactly.
Now we can start. What do I need to do for my children? All right. And the reason why I do it in that order is because at the end of the day, all right, we all love our kids.
Yeah.
But when we turn 60 and 65, our kids are not going to be like, hey, mom and dad, here goes $40,000.
They're not. They're not.
They're not going to do that.
No, absolutely
so
not.
You got to take care of you.
Yes.
And that's why it's important for you to do it early. Okay, you got to start early, you know. In anything that you do, start early. Like I said, get the information, and then you just go from there.
Now, how can we find you? Somebody want to get in contact, they need a licensed person to help them out. How can they find you?
Good question. So I can be reached as far as social media on Instagram at Bearded Financial Guy. Okay. That's my my Instagram name.
Gotcha.
But if you want to contact me, you can just call me. My number is 973-494-2140.
Gotcha.
Again, my name is Michael Warren. And the reason why I always like to just save my information rather than giving cards, because here's the thing. A lot of times, if I give you a business card, where does it go?
In my pocket.
At the bottom.
At the bottom.
Exactly. And then you never remember who I am.
Yes.
All right. Until it's an emergency.
Yes.
And then it's like, okay, Mike, I need you to do a miracle for me. I can't, it's hard,
Yes.
So that's why what I normally do is I get the people's information. So I give you my number, put it in your phone. You send me a text. All right. And then we can schedule something from there. I have an office right here on Morris Avenue.
Oh, okay.
In Union. So I'm very available,
And what's your hours for the office? Appointment only?
Yeah, it's appointment by appointment. Normally I kind of do things during the week anytime after, I'll say 6 o'clock.
Okay.
And then on the weekends, I'm pretty much free. It all depends on how we schedule our appointments.
Okay. So we come in, so we can get you by going to the office appointment, or we can find you on social media.
Absolutely.
Give us some last advice, some last financial advice on what, just talk to somebody.
Hey, listen.
Financially.
Here's the thing. One thing I always tell people is control your spending habits. Okay? If you don't do anything, all right, watch what you spend your money on. All right? Don't be an impulsive spender.
Okay.
All right, because a lot of times what we'll do is we'll spend $500 on a car note, not knowing $500 in an investment over let's say 30, 40 years, will yield us anywhere from $1.5 to $2 million.
Throw out some quick investments. What's some good investments?
Okay, so
trying to get you all of it.
All right, now that's good. So again, as far as investments, definitely do that Roth IRA. Okay. If you are at your job, right? They only tell you about the 401k.
That's it.
All right. So you want to ask them about the Roth 401k.
Okay.
All right.
So Roth 401k.
That acts just like the Roth IRA.
Oh, right? Okay.
The only difference is that one is with an employer and the other one is for the individual. So IRA stands for Individual Retirement Account. All right. That's for me. Okay. But like I said, the Roth 401k is through your employers. Because here's the thing. When I am working, all right, I know that every time I take my paycheck, all right, and I put it into my Roth 401k, I know whatever number I see, that's the number that's going to be at the end.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying? Because most people tax bracket is anywhere from 28 to 33%.
Gotcha.
So if I got $1 million by the time I retire, right, at age, let's say 65, 33% of $1 million is $330,000 in taxes that Uncle Sam is going to take from me.
He want his money.
He's going to want his money. All right?
Yes.
So you got to make sure, because one of the biggest things that hurts most retirees is taxes. Okay? Because they don't realize all that money they got in their 401k, when they take it out, they got to pay the taxes. And if you are working, whatever money you take from your 401k, is going to be added as income, okay, for that year. So if you make 50 grand a year and you took 20 grand from your 401k, so you made 70 grand that year.
And
so that you're going to be taxed, and then it could possibly raise your tax bracket.
Exactly, and you're already retired, so like
exactly. So if you got a Roth, you take some from the Roth. That's not going to raise your tax bracket.
And you could take from that, no hardship. You ain't got to write nothing down.
Nope.
None of that.
That's all good.
So if you at work, you can do it. That's very important because we only know about 401k.
100%.
Any other investments we could think of?
As far as that, I like to keep it between those two things.
Okay.
As far as, just setting yourself up. Because like I said, even children can take advantage of that as well.
Okay.
Oh, speaking of children, all right, there's some things one of the children could get, they call UGMA accounts. All right. These are specifically for children.
Okay.
Because most kids, most parents don't know if their children are going to go to college.
Gotcha.
Now, if your kids are going to go to college, you could do the 529.
Okay.
Okay. That's specifically for schools.
Gotcha.
All right. Gotcha. But the problem is if you don't use the money for college, or for school purposes, you get taxed. Okay. So what you could do is you can open up an UGMA account for your child, and then that money can be used for whatever.
Okay. Now, can we get that from a bank, a regular bank?
Yeah, you can get that. Banks, sell those things as well too.
Okay.
Any institution, most institutions have, set up stuff for children's things of that nature as well too.
Okay.
Absolutely.
I love that. I didn't even know about that.
Yeah.
Stuff. That's why it's good to have these conversations because you really don't know.
Yeah.
You just see what they put in the big bold letters, like get the checking account, savings account, and your money just sitting there.
Yes, absolutely.
72 years to get to $1,000 from a savings. I'm still stuck on that.
Yeah,
like
100%.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming by. Before we leave, I do want you to give some advice, some lasting words, just some like a dope way to talk to people.
Hey, listen, man. At the end of the day, if you're trying to build anything, just know that things work in 90-day increments.
Okay.
All right. And the fruits of your labor, all right, that you see is always going to be from 90 days earlier. All right. So do not be discouraged. All right. When you are going through. All right. Just know and understand that, hey, listen, this is a 90-day cycle.
Okay.
I got to keep going. All right. And then when I start seeing success, it was from my efforts that I put away 90 days ago.
Gotcha. I love that.
That's it.
Thank you so much for stopping by and kicking it with us.
Yes.
This was such a good talk. I know people are going to be buying houses. They're going to be getting their life together financially.
Absolutely.
And we